Welcome, everyone, to episode 74 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, do we like fruity bugs?
How about buggy fruit?
Oh, buggy fruit's good too. This episode, we're going to be talking about Bugsnax. This is a request from one of our listeners, Vin, who's been bugging me a lot to play this game. And it finally came on Game Pass. It's very, very recently that it did come on Game Pass. But this game was developed by Young Horses. Another sort of animal developer.
We got spider developers. We got young horse developers. What's next?
What is next? We don't know yet. We'll find out after this episode. But this game came out originally November of 2020. And I played this on the PC. It was 8.99 gigabytes on the PC. Tom, what about you?
9.3 gigabytes on the Xbox One.
That's why they're young. They don't know. They don't know anything yet.
Well, in fairness, this game was built for the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5.
Right.
So
supposedly. So
whatever.
Yeah. But what kind of game is this?
I have first-person adventure puzzler.
Oh, that's you know what? Yeah, that's probably good. I wrote Pokemon Snap style adventure game because you take pictures, sort of.
Yeah, well, Pokemon style Snap is first person, so
yeah, it's true. It's true. And the game loop. What is this game loop, Tom? What do you got?
All right, there's a little nuance here that I hope our listeners will catch. Catch cute critters and then feed them to other characters.
Yeah. Very, very true. I wrote scan environment for delectable bugs and feed them to people, or in this case, grumpuses.
Yes.
I believe that's what they are.
They are. Grumpuses. They are grumpuses.
Yes.
Grumpus. Yeah, maybe the singular is grumpus and then plural.
Is it grumpus-I? Grumpsies?
No, singular would be grumpus and plural would be grumpi, like cactus, cacti.
Possibly. I think I'm getting what you putting down, Tom.
But I believe that in the game you are correct, and the plural is grumpuses.
Well, again, young horses.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's fine.
No big deal. They're Muppet people. That's what you need to know.
Yes, they do look very much like Muppet people, and you are one of those Muppet people.
Yes,
you play as a Muppet people. You are a grumpus.
You can see your grumpus limbs in first person.
Yes, very much so. What did you like about this game?
Well, okay. First of all, I liked the cartoony art style of it. It's nice and bright and colorful, and it reminds me of like Skylanders or maybe Spyro. And I just dug it right from the beginning. I was like, yeah, I'm into this.
Yeah, very much so. I'm with you. Again, this is one of those styles that will probably look good a few years down the line. And I'm wondering, like, what would this game look like if it was done realistically? Like, how horrifying it would be?
Oh, jeez. Terrifying. Straight terrifying.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they did it in this way. And like I mentioned earlier on, the game definitely has that Pokemon Snap kind of feel. You're dropped in this environment. You're in this world where there's these Bugsnax that are running around, and you have to like follow their patterns, take pictures of them, scan them, figure out what they do and what they like, and all that stuff. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah, kind of build your Bugsnax-a-dex.
Right. Right, exactly. You are, in this case, just a journal. You just call it a journal in this. But yeah. I liked that the jokes were kiddie, but then like they added like almost a little bit of a layer, like an adult layer to everything on top of it. So it's like kids can play it, but then the parents and any other adults that happen to enjoy this style of game can be like, oh, okay, that's actually pretty funny, or wow, that's like we'll talk about it a little bit. Gets pretty dark.
Yeah.
So it's like that's one thing I appreciated, that they took the effort into their writing for that stuff.
Yeah, I think it was generally pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know, like the characters are funny. These Muppet characters are funny, and the game is funny. Like there's there's humor to it. The little Bugsnax say their names and like wobble around, and they're goofy. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, obviously borrowing that from Pokemon, right? Like
for sure.
how they just say their names.
But see, the Pokemon say their names in the anime, but they don't say their names in the video games,
Oh, that's right.
Uh-huh. So this is like, I appreciated that in the video game here.
Well, no one says anything in the Pokemon games, though.
Yeah, no, but the Pokemons have cries, but they're like, they're not.
How was it again, Tom? I've never heard that before in a Pokemon game, but maybe
they're all like that. They all are some variant of that, except for Pikachu and Eevee in the modern incarnations, who actually do say their names. And okay, but that's about it. Everybody else is just some variant of.
It's just the cute one. It's just the cute ones that get their own thing. Got it. The ones that they can sell toys for, or dolls for, or plushies for. Yeah. Okay. I think you put this in there too. The controls are pretty nice. Like they felt pretty intuitive. And didn't feel like there was any lag or anything like that. So it felt pretty good overall, I thought. And like you mentioned, it's a first person game. So I can see my feet.
Oh,
that's great.
I see. I don't look for that the way that you do, but I did notice when I was doing the crouch crawl, I saw my hands come out and pull myself forward.
Yeah. So this is cool. I like that. I like the way that you can, the various ways, and you kind of mentioned this as well, various ways that you can catch these Bugsnax.
Yeah.
There's that, like, to your point about how the type of game it is, like there's a puzzle. Like, how do you catch this particular type of Bugsnax? They all have their tendencies and and all that stuff. So you have to use that to your advantage, which is great. Which is gets you invested and not like immediately bored because I'm doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. To piggyback on that, there also are multiple solutions to the problems. So you don't have to solve it, this specific way. The game has in mind kind of the way that it expects you to solve it. But you are free to use the tools and resources available to you to solve it a couple of different ways.
So are you talking about the missions in general, or are you talking about the way you capture the?
I'm talking about the capturing specifically. That's where I noticed it.
Okay, because I was about to say, like, oh, there's different ways to complete the missions too. That's pretty interesting if you were able to do that.
Well, little things like it said, go catch 3 Bugsnax and feed it to this guy, right? And it's okay, so I could go catch whichever ones I want,
Yeah.
And then you go feed him to the guy, and it changes how he morphs, right, based on what you fed him, which is, I think, is neat.
Yeah.
But also, there was an opportunity there a couple of times where it was like, go catch me one of these, and how I solved it wasn't necessarily the way that the game expected me to solve it. So I thought that was pretty neat. I also think there's a nice variety of tools and creature types. Like we only played an hour, so we only saw a small subset of those, but each of the areas has their own set of Bugsnax. And it's like, okay, there's a strawberry one and a raspberry one, and they're kind of similar, but maybe they have some slight variance. Maybe they're into different things in terms of their what they like and things like that. And there are different models because one of them is a strawberry and one of them is a raspberry. You know,
very true, very true. I also liked kind of the overall story, meaning like there's a mystery because you're looking for this particular character, and like no one knows where she is, and you know like what happened to her. Again, like kind of like the darker elements, like did she actually die? Like that. I mean, death is brought up upon this game, and you're like, okay, and so yeah, like it got me hooked pretty quickly into what you wanted to find out with this character.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, that was cool.
Let's talk about some things though that unfortunately that we did not like, because you have a list, I have a list.
Yeah. Even though it is a first-person shooter, first-person adventure game, and I can see my feet, I can also see my belly.
Oh.
If you look down, you can actually see, and I'm like, look, I already know I got a stomach. I don't need to see it in my game too, all right? So it's not, I don't need that in my life. I'd like to see some abs if anything,
No, it's true to life. You just
it's
got
true
those flabby Muppet body that you've got.
It's so true. And the other thing I want to say, there's actually like a decent amount. Like I thought the worlds were pretty dense, but like they were still small. And when you get to the next one, like, I felt like there was a lot of loading throughout the game.
Oh, geez. My initial load time was miserable. And so yes, 100%, at least on the Xbox One, like load city. Like this is loading, that's loading. I'm like, what are you loading?
Yeah. I didn't get that. Like, especially if this was a game that was supposed to be optimized for like, the Xbox or PlayStation, stuff like that. Like the amount of loading that's happening throughout this game, I was very surprised about. I mean, granted, the PlayStation has faster drives and stuff like that, so maybe it just takes advantage of that. I don't know. It seemed a little half-baked in that sense. But
and it doesn't have any way of disguising the load. You're just watching a loading screen.
Yep.
So don't do that. If you're making a game, I don't know, put a cutscene there, do something.
Right.
Hide it somehow. Just distract me, okay? Juggle while you load. I don't know.
Why not?
Do something else so I don't notice the load time.
Yeah. What about you, Tom? What do you got here for
things you didn't like? Oh man, so eating these cute creatures makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, not only does eating them make me feel uncomfortable, the fact that like they make the characters grow particular limbs and stuff like that was really weird. I was like, why? Why would you want that? Why would you want a strawberry hand? Why would you want a French fry hand?
Yeah.
What's the purpose?
It's certainly not explored in the first hour. Like these characters' limbs transform into French fries or transform into strawberries. And they're like, oh, look how awesome this is. And I'm like, you don't have fingers anymore. Like, that looks terrible.
What are you doing?
Are you going to eat your own hand off? Like, what's...
Yeah. And it's like, that made no sense to me. What else you had? You said you mentioned Filbo.
Oh yeah, Filbo is like so depressing. Like he's a depressing character. He's sad and defeated. And then you get to the town, and the town is like desolate, and everyone's left. And I'm just like, Jesus! Like this game starts, and it's like super bright and super colorful and super fun. And then like you go and like take the first layer off, and it's like, oh, actually, this is really terrible. Like bad things are happening here.
This guy stinks as a mayor. He's essentially the village idiot.
Yep.
And Or
the
Mayor Quimby in The Simpsons, right? He's like just that kind of a
the
dolt.
real mayor left this person in charge, and
Yeah,
everybody knows that they're not really in charge,
right.
but then the mayor never comes back, and so the whole town falls apart, and he says, "It didn't even take a day." Like, it's like
It's so bad.
it's like, "Ouch, kid," like
Oh my god, this Philbo. I mean, like even like in the intro video with what's eggs? Oh, I forgot her name already, but it's okay. Um, the character that you're looking for, you could see Philbo is like the dummy, like he was just walking and he like falls over and hurts himself from it. Something I'm like this guy. All right. Um, anything else you want to bring up about
um,
dislikes?
the game is definitely, like, on rails, so
Mm,
despite some ability to kind of solve a problem however you wanna do it, it like, you get to that town, and you can go no way but the one way. Like,
mm,
you go left, it's blocked, you go right, it's blocked, you go south, it's blocked. The only route out of town is north, and it leads to the beach where you have to go complete some objective, and I was like,
hmm.
I was disappointed, by that and how locked to the story progression like the game is,
Right.
but secretly, I really enjoy things like that because it keeps me on task.
Yeah.
I can't go chasing butterflies into the river if you don't let me do it. So it stinks because it kind of goes, "Oh, yeah, look at this whole world you can go do,
Hmm.
but you can only go this way right now." And, like, that sucks, but
Yeah.
it is good at, like, focusing you on the plot and
Yeah. Which now you think about it, it would be kind of cool if there was almost like a free roam mode. You know,
Yeah,
you're not talking about a campaign. You're just there to take pictures of animal the snacks, the bug snacks, and have like a photo mode. Like, why couldn't they could just do a photo mode where it's like take your best picture, whatever it is, of these things, and that would have been cool.
yeah,
I
yes,
think I would have liked also more interaction between the bug snacks. I feel like you had to goad them into interacting with each other,
right.
but like overall they're just kind of like doing their own thing by themselves. Like I'm thinking of like Monster Hunter World where they're just things organically happen, right?
Mm,
Where like I don't know, a Rathian just drops in and like starts messing around with one of the other monsters, and it's like, all right, that's kind of cool. Just to see that in action. And here it's like, if I attract one thing to another, it would work. But other than that, they kind of just did their own thing. But anything else, or should we go to the notables?
uh, I did wanna quickly mention, that there are puns aplenty in this game, and
Yeah,
that's a detractor, guys, okay?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I
We
guess
have a couple of friends that are really terrible with the puns, and just having a game that does it too is not great.
yeah. The guy who's a farmer and he farms sauces and things, and he's like, "I'll be right there," or like, "Go on ahead, I'll catch up." And I was like, "No, no,
Shut
you
down.
lost me."
Uninstall game.
Yeah,
Right
that was it. It happened at minute 35, and I was ready to stop right there.
there. Well, I appreciate you kept going for the hour.
I did.
Yeah.
I made a promise to myself and to our listeners that I would.
Yes, you held your ground, so I appreciate that. How long to beat says that this game takes about 10 and a half hours to beat. So, fairly short game.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Yeah. And on the Xbox version or the Game Pass version, you have cloud saves, cloud play. You can play this on your mobile, which is pretty cool.
That is neat.
And one thing I would like to see is, could this be a VR game?
Yeah, I think it could. It is, like first person. They're going to have to do something about those load times, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
But the world
ain't nothing worse than a load time in VR. Because now you've got the thing strapped to your head, and you literally can't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, it would be kind of cool because the areas themselves are fairly small, so you don't have to like be traversing so much. Because that's like one of the big things, right? When you're walking around in VR, like how do you do it? So I would think it'd be manageable. It'd be kind of cool to see this game in VR. Anything else? Did you want to bring up anything? Other thoughts here?
You referenced it a couple of times. This definitely feels to me like a much more interactive version of Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
Where taking the photos is replaced by catching Bugsnax.
Yeah.
And I think that's a cool combo. I think it works.
I think it works too. So does it work enough for us to keep playing it, or not enough?
Good question. Well, here's what I'll tell you. I had a lot of fun playing this. And I did not want to stop playing it when my hour is up.
Oh.
So I am going to keep it, Chris.
Wow.
Well done. Doesn't happen very often.
Doesn't happen we had a streak though where you were keeping a couple of games. So
yes. The premise, I didn't know that this was, or the promise, I should say, of this being only 10.5 hours sounds delicious. Delicious as a Bugsnax. More delicious than a Bugsnax, really.
Yeah, really. I mean, and you won't have to grow any weird limbs.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I will have to sit through 9 more hours of other characters eating these cute little strawberry animals.
And puns, potentially.
Oh, yeah.
So there's that.
How about you, Chris?
I mean, this game was cute and a game that I think I could play with my kids safely.
Oh.
So I think I'm going to keep it. I think they'd really enjoy this too. So I think I'm going to keep it.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
We give it two thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. That's how we do it here. So those are our thoughts, and let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter at TC1H1D, or shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D. And if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, send us a comment down below, and we promise to read and respond. 1H1D is part of the QTV network. If wrestling is your thing, check out the Double DQ Wrestling Podcast with Enzo and Biggs at quitthebuild.com/double DQ.
Every time you say it, I want some Dairy Queen. It's just because I love ice cream.
Ice cream is good. Ice cream sandwiches are even better.
I had a lackluster ice cream sandwich earlier today, but it was my fault. I got a store-bought like M&M's. Yeah,
soggy.
Do not recommend.
Soggy piece of garbage. Well, Tom, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to have someone else pick something for us too.
Oh no!
It's our next game, and the surprise me button, I believe, is picking the game for us. So here we go, surprise me button. Tell us what we're playing next. We Happy Few.
We Happy Few.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
Well, it's a first-person kind of creepy game. Looks like, at least. I don't know.
Okay.
But we'll find out soon enough, won't we, Tom?
Yes, and they will find out as well.
Yes. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.